Welcome to this edition of Authors and Poets. Today's speaker, Annie Fox, is a popular online advice columnist for teens and recently authored the book, Can You Relate? Advice for teens on guys, girls, growing up, and getting along. Kids can connect with Annie at talkcity.com/theinsight. For cyber advice, just click Hey Tara.
She is also an actress in San Francisco. So she does many, many things and has a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. We are thrilled that Annie is here, so let's give her a big hand and a big warm welcome.
Thanks. I'm really glad you're all here. I was here in October. I had a wonderful time and had an opportunity to come back, so here I am. What do? I made up this job for myself. I was the carpool mom for my daughter when she was in the 12th grade. And I had known most of the kids that I drove around for a really long time. And I was the mom that they felt pretty comfortable talking to. So I'd find out what was going on in their lives. And it seemed like every time they got in the car, it would be a continuation, kind of like a soap opera in a way. It's like, okay, well, what happened with that guy that you wanted to get closer to, and so did you do anything? And they continued telling me what was going on. Well, around November, it dawned on me as they were getting their college applications out that my time as the advice carpool mom was coming to an end because they were going to be leaving, all of them. And I felt kind of sad about that. Not only was my own daughter going to be going off to college, but these other kids that I'd gotten close to were also going to be leaving. So I woke up one morning in November of 1996. And I had this dream, I guess, I don't know, that I was going to make up this place for teenagers on a website called The Insight, like the cool site, The Insight, but it also meant insightful, to learn about yourself. And I put this panic button on it called Hey Tara. It's not my picture. It's an illustration of a woman with her mouth wide open, and she's screaming, Hey Tara! Maybe some of you have seen it. And it's really a panic button. If you've got something that's going on in your life, you have nobody to talk to, just click there and you send me an email. Well, these emails started coming in from all over the world. I couldn't believe it. And in a very short time, I realized that something that I had invented was catching on here. So I pitched the idea to a couple of publishers, and one of them said, sounds like a good book. So I spent a year writing the book, and we're going to be giving away 4 copies of it later. But what I learned in writing the book, by reading all these emails, is that it doesn't matter if you come from Singapore, or you're in Hong Kong, or in Brazil, or anywhere. If you're a teenager, there's just certain things that are issues with you. And I found it really interesting. It's totally cross-cultural. And what I found is that it all comes down to relationships. That most people, when they think about relationships, let me put this down here. When they think about relationships, they kind of picture a car, but it's not your normal car. It's the kind of car that has no steering wheel and no windshield to see in front of you, no rear view mirrors to see behind you, definitely no brakes, no seat belt. And in fact, you don't even actually step in this car, you kind of get sucked into it, and then you go along for the ride. And the idea that you could have any control over where you're going in this relationship, no. Most people don't believe they could do that. Relationships kind of happen, right? They just kind of happen. And my idea is that, of course you have control. You've got the steering wheel. You have the operations manual for this car. You know where it's going, and there's a door, and you can get out if you want to. So I started thinking, well, what is it that I know about relationships that I could help teenagers with? It's mostly about communication. Well, hey, most of us have been talking since we've been 18 months old. Why don't we really talk about the stuff that's important? If you're lucky, you may have 1 or 2 friends that you feel like you could talk to. But when something's really going on with you, who do you really talk to? Really talk to. Many of us don't even tell the truth to ourselves. So when you get in a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and you're with this person, and maybe you're getting really physical with them, you say, well, we're really close. But then stuff happens, and you're not really happy in the relationship anymore, and you want to maybe spend some, oh, this guy looks pretty interesting. Maybe kind of, How do you tell this person it's over? And people write to me, how can I break up with my boyfriend without hurting his feelings? Is that possible? No. I don't think so. No, it isn't. Because if you've got some news for someone and they don't want to hear it, it's going to hurt their feelings. Does that mean that you stay in a relationship beyond the point where you are having a good time? No. So maybe it's not possible to break up with someone without hurting their feelings, but that doesn't mean that you've got to be cruel or harsh with someone. I actually knew somebody. This is a true story. And she wasn't happy in her relationship with her boyfriend. So she was ready to break up with him. She went to his house to tell him the news. And she came back, and she was engaged to be married. Because he started crying. And it broke her heart. She felt so bad, that he felt so bad, that she said, oh, well, okay, I guess maybe we could work it out. Okay, so they got married, and 2 years later, they had a baby, and they got divorced very soon after that. What was the mistake? She should have done what she knew what she was going there to do, was that the relationship wasn't working for her, to get out of it. And too often we stay in relationships beyond the time where it's working. And then what happens with our friends? Our friends are into stuff that doesn't feel right to us. And it's bothering us. So I get letters, okay, you know, my friend is in an abusive relationship. Her boyfriend treats her so bad. And I want to tell her that this isn't good, but I don't want her to get mad at me. Well, sometimes telling the truth to people gets them mad at you. And that's okay. Because that's what friends are for. If friends can't tell each other the truth, then what is this friendship about? So today, what we're going to be doing is talking pretty honestly about some of the stuff that maybe you don't talk to anybody about. And maybe this will be something new for you. But I'll tell you, communication and honesty is total power. So you won't be just kind of sucked into that car and going along a road and feel like you have no control over anything. You want to be in control of your life. You may only have one time around. And, you know, it's your life. So you should be totally calling the shots. Okay, so here's some of the questions that, I don't know which class brought them, but they're great. I'll start up with these, and maybe you'll warm up a little bit, and some of you maybe didn't write a question in, but really would like to ask one. So let's go from here. Okay, my friend likes this guy, and now that she started talking to him, she started to change. She only wants to hang out with him, and I feel left out. Should I tell her how I feel or just move on? Should she tell her how she feels? Yeah. You should. Anybody think it's not a good idea to tell this person like this? I mean, you think silence does more damage to any relationship than telling the truth. I'll say that again. By keeping your mouth shut, there's the potential of doing more harm in a relationship than by talking from your heart. Okay, her friend is changing. Hanging out with this guy, she doesn't have time for her old friend anymore. She's got to tell her. First of all, in these cases, often, the person who's doing the changing is so in love, they're not even aware. They don't even know. She's not trying to hurt a friend. She's just kind of wrapped up. And maybe if you said, I really miss the time we used to spend together. I'm feeling really left out here. What's the worst thing that could happen on the other side? Has anyone ever said that to you? Has anyone ever said, hey, you know, you've changed? Anyone? Never happened. Yeah? And when the person said that to you, how did it make you feel? Yeah? Did you raise your hand? Yeah. How did it make you feel when the person said, you know, you've really changed? Was it news to you? No. You had known you were changing. Okay, what happened as a result of this information? Did anything change in the relationship? So you kept moving the direction you were moving, and this person who gave you this news, did they stay your friend or not?
Yeah, I mean, that is a great compliment.
Uh-huh.
I don't think overall.
I have to, first of all, thank you for being honest. I mean, it's scary. It's scary to talk about personal stuff in a group. But it's also scary to talk one-on-one about personal stuff. But in this case, I think your friend did you a service because real friends will tell you the truth. What's the alternative? You've got these feelings, boy, you know, Daria's really changed. She's just like, and here you are complaining about this person who used to be your friend behind her back. Oh, no, what's that about? And then it gets back to her anyway. And you say, boy, you know, you're telling people I've changed. No, I never said that. So then you're lying and you're sneaking, and it's a mess. You don't want to go there. So the point of a lot of this is to get in touch with your feelings. What are you feeling right now? You may be bored, you may be sleepy, you may be, you know, mildly intrigued. And who is this lady up here? But most of the time, we've kind of got all these layers on top of our feelings. They have to do with what we think we ought to be feeling. Or we're watching all the time what people are saying about us. Or what our faces, oh, everyone's laughing. Oh, I think that's funny too. But inside you really don't think it's funny. But you want this approval from everybody. It's not just because you're teenagers. That's not it. Human beings are social creatures. That means we live in groups, we work in groups, and we're very dependent on the approval of others. Human beings don't function in isolation. So approval is a big thing. Why do you think babies learn to smile? It's one of the first things they learn to do. Because these big people who are feeding them and keeping them warm love it when babies smile. So that kind of reinforces it. Oh, that makes Mom happy, and she's going to give me some love, she's going to give me food, she's going to keep me warm, new toy, all this stuff. So you learn to smile. But what happens is sometimes the smile gets stuck. And we do it for the benefit of others, and we're not really sure what's going on inside. Someone wrote me a question about that. It was a really simple question. It really has to do with what you're wearing. If you put on something that you like, why don't they like it? I'm going to turn this into a question. If I knew who this person wrote it, I would say to him or her, why does it matter if they like it? I'm sorry, say it again?
Because you want your friend's approval.
He says, because you want your friend's approval. But if you really like it, you really like that shirt, and your friend says, man, that shirt, would you stop wearing it?
No.
No, you wouldn't. Okay, so there's sometimes they say, okay, you want your friend's approval, but what you want is also important too, right? Okay, you've got to weigh it. But there's a trap in this. The trap is if you're always doing something for other people's approval, then you kind of forget what you want. You're always looking around for clues. Is this okay? Am I doing okay? And then when no one else is around, how do you make your own decision? So I say you might want to think about why it's so important. There's this famous saying, Abraham Lincoln said this, you can't please all the people all the time. And I add to that, and you'd be a fool if you tried. Because you're giving away your power. It's not about them living your life. So let's be really honest here. How many times have you put on something or got your hair cut a certain way and people said they didn't like it? Okay. How'd you feel? Terrible? You liked it. Oh, by the way, the thing you put on you liked, and you liked your haircut. After you get this feedback from quote-unquote friends, what do you do? You never wear the thing again? You change your hair? Tell me. What do you do? Yeah.
I kind of like when people give me feedback, but like if I like something and I just want to have a change, I'll leave it. I don't care. And if I like it, I want to keep it.
Good for you.
It's mine, and it's how I like my life, and it's how I like to be.
That's right. And you know the people that we say are cool, they are usually the people who are doing their own thing. So funny. I remember hearing this once, I'm not self-confident enough to be different. But different is really cool. I mean, there's that borderline. There's cool, there's different weird. And then there's the person who just does their own thing. And we all admire them. What does it take to get that level of self-confidence? That you could do what you want. You like it, it reflects who you are, and it doesn't matter what anyone says. Do you think that would be a good place to be? Yeah? How do you get there? Do you know anybody in this room who you think has that self-confidence? You guys know each other? Who's the most self-confident person you know? You? You? You are? Are you self-confident?
No.
You are self-confident? My goodness, this is not something like who took the last cookie. This is self-confidence is something you should be proud of. Are you self-confident? Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd you get that way?
I don't know. I just know that people like me, and I know that they like me, and so that makes me feel good and makes me like be brave, I guess, do my own thing.
Exactly. Did you already say that? He said he knows people like him. It gives him the courage to do his own thing. It's like you already have guaranteed approval. People like you. So when you've got that, you step out in the world, do your own thing. And ideally, we should get that from our parents before you step out into the world.
I'm glad I didn't get it from my parents.
You didn't get it from your parents? Well, then you got it for yourself, and that's really cool. I said ideally. It doesn't often happen. But if a kid gets that kind of approval, you're an okay kid, then walk into kindergarten, preschool, whatever, you're self-confident and you're brave because you've kind of got the idea that, yeah, I'm going to get approval. I think so much of self-confidence really comes from inside. It's not really what other people are saying. It's really what you know is true about you.
I just think that people should realize that those people that are criticizing you aren't going to be there with you all your life.
It's true. People who are criticizing you are not going to be there all your life. And the people who criticize the most are the most insecure people. You probably don't have a lot of respect for them anyway. So why would you change what you're doing to get their approval when all they do is trash people? You know, people who are really self-confident are pretty accepting. You know, they don't need to put other people down because they feel okay about themselves. Okay, let's get you some juicy ones here. I have so much fun reading my email. It's really great. Okay, there's this girl I really like, but I don't even think she knows I'm alive. What can I do? Is there a girl here who has some advice for this boy? Before I try to, yeah.
Take a chance.
Take a chance. Okay. He's making an assumption here she doesn't know he's alive. She might know he's alive, right? Take a chance. She might feel the same way. Okay, so we're talking about a risk here. The take a chance thing? What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, get rejected. Have any of you ever been rejected? Is that all? Come on. You weren't chosen for the team you wanted. You didn't get invited to the party you wanted. Sure. And here's the question. Yes, you've been rejected. The next question is, did you survive? No. Oh dear, there's a corpse over here. He didn't survive. You survived. I used to try and get the screenplays that I wrote bought in Hollywood. I had this great idea. I was going to be a screenwriter, and I wanted to get my scripts bought and turned into movies. It's a very difficult process, but I realized that I had to keep getting on the phone, pitching the stories, and getting people to say, sure, send me your script. If I wasn't getting rejected at least 15 times a day, I didn't feel like I was doing my job. It's hard, but you know what? It gets a little easier. You keep getting in there because it's not really so much about you. It's about what you want and what you're willing to go for. So for this guy, he says, what can I do? Take a chance. You might get rejected. There's always a risk. There's a risk in any time you put yourself out there. But what's the alternative? What's the alternative of not taking a risk? Yeah. Yeah? Uh-huh. And? I'm sure he let that one out. Yeah. I'm glad. And there's another part to it, too, is that you spend a lot of time wondering, what would have happened if I had called her up? The worst thing in your life would be you get to your deathbed and you're filled with all these wonderings of what would have happened if I'd only done this, if I'd only called that person up, if I'd only answered that email. You know, it's like, what's this about? When you get to the end of your life, I'm not there yet, But when you get to the end of your life, I guarantee you will not say, oh, let's see, how do I measure? Was this a successful life or not? Look at my bank account. Yeah, I've got this good car in my driveway, nice house. No. My guess is when you get to the end of your life, you think about how many close relationships you had. How many people you could call your friends. How many people you were a good friend to. How many people you really opened up to. And how many people trusted you. That's what it's about. When do you start learning how to do that if you're not doing it now? Isn't it? You know, the truth is, when you get out of school, you are, and I'm saying, you know, high school, college, when you stop being a student, you are much less likely to meet people. You know, you work and you do your thing. But this is, you know, this is the social Disneyland. This is it. It's absolutely true. You change classes, you know, there's all these people around your age all the time. And they're all looking. They're looking. So if you are open and self-confident, you're going to enjoy being around people more. Okay. What else we got here? How can you tell if someone from the opposite sex really likes you? See, you can answer these questions. I'm no expert. How can you tell? How can you tell if anybody likes you? Yes.
There's really no way to tell if someone from the opposite sex likes you.
There is no one way to tell. Okay, that's your idea. Okay, thanks. Yeah?
Well, you're going to know if they tell you. Well, I guess it's
That's the most obvious clue. Yeah, how do you tell?
Well, probably one of the signs might be like flirting with you.
Flirting, okay.
They spend more time around you than usual than you think.
Okay. They notice when you're around. They put their attention on you. Okay, that's a good sign. Yeah? Who has not said anything? How do you tell when a girl likes you? How can you tell? Anyway. Yeah? Have you ever had that experience that you wondered if she likes you? Somebody? How can you tell? Yeah? Okay, they're putting their attention on you. They notice when you're around. Okay. So then what do? You always have a choice. I want you to realize this, guys. In everything you do, every moment of the day, you always have a choice. Okay. So, scenario one. You find out the person likes you, but you don't really feel that way about them. What do?
Some opinions, like they're a nerd or something, or like, I don't want him, so I'm going to stay away.
Okay. You create distance. You don't encourage the person. Okay. You can do that without, getting down on them. Okay. Do you notice girls seem to be more comfortable talking about this stuff? Think maybe they think about it more? I said more. More, not exclusively. You did a really good job. Oh, can we be friends? Guys, how does it feel when a girl says to you, can we just be friends? Don't. The guys don't like that. Don't use that line. They don't like that line. Because what does it really mean? I don't use the word friend lightly. If I say someone is my friend, I really mean that they're my friend. So when you're saying, can we just be friends, what you're really saying is, I don't want to talk to you. I don't have anything to do with it. It's not really what a friend is. So anyway, so you found out someone likes you, you don't feel the same way about them. What do? It's hard. Especially if you're a kind-hearted person like you are. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Yeah?
What if that person is your friend?
Oh, that's that wrinkle. I've had that. Okay. Me and my best guy friend, we're so close. He's my best friend, and then I find out he likes me. And that. Who said uh-oh? Okay. Yeah. What happens? No, you're absolutely right. It is a big uh-oh. It's a tremendous risk because you're crossing that line from the friend into the boyfriend-girlfriend zone. And How many of you have ever broken up with someone or been broken up with in your entire life? Would it be fair to say that most relationships that teenagers have don't last very long? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, most, I'm not saying all. I know people who are married 30 years who met in high school. I know that most do not last very long. If you're a happy couple, I'm happy for you. But most, they don't. So, you have this friendship. It's really tight. And you cross the line into the boyfriend-girlfriend zone. You spend 2, maybe 3 weeks going out. It didn't work out. You think you can easily cross back into friendship? No. It's weird. No. And then what happens? That's it. You've lost the friendship. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to be friends with someone before you start going out with them. It's a really good, healthy way to start a relationship. But it gets so tricky, especially if you see each other all the time and you're no longer going out, and then your best friend, who's also your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, is now going out with someone else, and maybe it's another one of your friends they're going out with. It hurts. And it's, you can't pretend nothing happened. I don't know what the solution is, but some people don't want to take that risk, and they just say, hey, we're friends, and I really like it this way, and it's probably not going to turn into happily ever after anyway, so why don't we just do the friendship thing? I don't know. Now, from your experience what happens. It's like, uh-oh, like you said. And it gets weird. So there's the other side of that, too. You're just totally happy to be friends with your best girlfriend or your best friend who's a guy, and then you find out they like you, or you want to make the move. How can I get him to see that that we'd really be happy together as boyfriend and girlfriend? And so I don't know. That's a really tricky one. A lot of people ask me that one. Yeah. Most of them. Is it a healthy relationship? Okay. Do you know what a healthy relationship is? We're going to talk about healthy relationships. Go ahead. Do you know what a healthy? You said yeah, they have a healthy relationship. Healthy relationships. Maybe you can tell me some of the things that you have to have for a healthy relationship. If you read my book, you probably know that. Yeah. Honesty. Oh, wow. And you know what? That doesn't just have to do with boyfriend-girlfriend. Healthy relationships between friends better have some honesty. And even with parents. No? Hey, I'm not saying you got to spill your guts and tell your parents every single thing you do every minute of the day. But just don't lie to them, because they're going to find out anyway. They will. I'm a mom, believe me. Find out. Okay, honesty. Very good. 20 points for that one. What else? Did you guys read my book? Honesty, communication. Oh, you should also know, 2-way honesty. If I'm honest with you and you're not honest with me, that's not a healthy relationship. And the communication has to be open communication, both directions. No one-way streets with friendships or any kind of healthy relationship. Honesty, open communication, what else? Someone else, yes. You did read my book. You must read. Trust? Absolutely. And you know what I mean by that? You tell me what you mean by trust. Who do you trust? And what do you trust them with?
My friends.
Yeah? What do you trust them with?
Not to tell people like what would happen.
Okay. You trust them to support you when you're not around?
Yeah.
What's the most precious thing you've got that you trust people with? Secrets, kind of, maybe. What?
Ourselves.
Yeah. What part of yourself? What is the most real, vulnerable part of yourself? Your feelings. Who do you trust with your feelings? Those people are your friends. So, in a healthy relationship, you better have trust. 2 ways. Communication. Honesty. One more thing. What? Feeling safe. I think that's trust. If you feel safe, you trust that someone's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's trust. It's good, though. Respect. To be treated with respect. And then we get into a whole thing, which I call, and it's an ugly word, abusive relationships. Now, yeah, we sometimes read things about abusive relationships in the newspaper where someone has actually murdered somebody. But most relationships that are abusive start out with, "You look really fat in that. You are so stupid. Keep your mouth shut." That's abusive. That is verbal abuse. And anybody who's in a relationship like that is in an abusive relationship. And if you stay in that kind of relationship, chances are it will escalate into something even uglier. Pushing, physical abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. You don't need to put up with that. And what's missing in that relationship, number one, is respect. The person's not respecting you. And everybody deserves to be treated with respect. Yeah.
Totally weird. He won't come near me. He acts like he's scared of me, and he thinks I'm a witch and stuff. He tries to put that on me, like I'm weird. Don't come near me. Leave me alone. And we were friends for a really long time. But once I told him that, he doesn't want to see me. He doesn't want to be near me. And if we're near each other, he acts totally weird.
He's a jerk. I hope you're not losing any sleep over him. He's not a jerk because he didn't feel the same way she felt about him. You guys get that? He's a jerk because he's doing all this other stuff. You don't have to trash someone because they said they liked you. It's actually an honor when someone feels that way about you. And you don't have to do anything about it.
What about something like your ex-girlfriend dating your best friend after?
Your ex-girlfriend dating your best friend. Was she your ex-girlfriend at the time they started dating?
Oh, like now, like right after.
Uh-huh. How do you feel about it?
That's very nice.
Who were you mad at? Your friend or the girlfriend?
Okay.
Okay. And did you talk to him?
I guess, yeah.
I guess, yeah. What does that sound like?
I didn't talk to him about it.
No, you didn't talk to him. Okay. So how does he know how you feel?
Well, he knows how I feel, but like I didn't talk to him the way I felt. I just threatened him.
Oh, you threatened him. Okay. Let me ask you this. When you threatened him, did he stop going out with the girl?
No.
No. Okay. Did you get to release any of the feelings you had because you were pissed and you were betrayed and you were hurt and you were, all those things? So by threatening him, did that make you feel better?
Well, like, he asked me permission. So I guess.
Oh, he asked you if it was okay for him to go out with after. Yeah, that's another thing I should warn you about in case you haven't already experienced it. If you break up with someone, it's really not cool if, they start going out with your friends, and your friends shouldn't go out with your ex, You ever had that experience? It's bad. Why is it bad?
Worse when it's your brother.
Oh, your brother, oh. Yeah, you're right. Because you expect better loyalty from a brother. You expect respect and trust from a brother. Yeah. So what did you do about the situation?
I disbrothered him, I guess.
You disbrothered him.
For a long time. We didn't talk for almost, a year and a half.
Wow.
But that was, 2 years ago.
I think it's cool now?
Yeah, we talked again now.
Is he still going out with her?
No.
No.
They broke up long time ago, but
You see, that's just like what we were talking about before, when you cross over the line to the boyfriend-girlfriend zone and then try to get back to friendship. Because look what happened to your relationship with your brother for a year and a half. And the relationship with the girl didn't even last. And you guys are brothers for life. So the whole thing could have been avoided. It's like you don't want to do stuff like that. What's your experience with somebody going out with your ex or what, a friend?
Both of my cousins were that way.
Both your cousins. Did they talk to you about it beforehand?
This is why we were going out.
Oh, cheating! Oh, so your cousins were cheating with your boyfriend. But you know, there's the other side of that. The boyfriend was cheating with the cousin. It's not, you know, for girls always want to think that the other girl's the enemy. No. If there's two people in a relationship, they're both choosing to do this cheating thing. They're both choosing. I got a letter a couple of days ago, email, where someone is saying, okay, I really like this guy, and he's got this girlfriend who treats him really, really badly. And if he would just realize that he would be so much happier with me. That's what she thinks. So she said, you know, it's like this girl is in the way of me being with this guy. The girl is the enemy. It's like, wait a minute. Isn't the guy choosing to be with the girl for whatever reason? Maybe he likes to be mistreated. It's his choice, right? And the other joke and total myth is that if this guy wasn't going with this girl who treats him badly, that he would want to be with the girl who wrote me the letter. That's fantasy land. If he wanted to be with her, he'd be with her. He wants to be with the girl who treats him badly. And you know what? That's his choice. So she writes to me and says, what should I do? So it's not your cousins. It's not necessary. Your cousins weren't right. They shouldn't have been doing this. But your boyfriend shouldn't have been doing it either.
I know, but it's more fault of like your family members.
Yeah, so you have higher expectations for them. You would think that they would be on your side and support you more and not mess with that stuff. You expect that.
Oh.
But it hurts. Doesn't matter. It hurts, right? Yeah, and it ruins the relationship, especially, you know, friendships are important. Where are you without your friends? Can you imagine what your life would be? All those people that you call up and talk to aren't there anymore. No friends. So it'd be really hard to get through a day. So you better be thinking about treating your friends better, and also expecting better treatment. Don't put up with stuff from your friends. You got to tell them the truth. You know, they start doing stuff that you don't like. How many of you have ever had a situation where you've got friends who are doing stuff that you know is not okay? Yeah. And so then you have to choose. You got to choose. Am I going to be friends with these people and maybe get in trouble while they're getting in trouble? Or,
You like if you don't have it in you to like if you have to distance yourself from that's like kind of like that's good, but yet if you have like so far in you like to be around the people who are doing it, but yet still not do it and like have a
if you're around people who use drugs, chances are pretty good you're going to get into using drugs.
no.
Not always. That's pretty good. You're going to. I'm not saying that you can't be friends with people who do stuff that you don't approve of. I'm not saying that. You can. But chances are that if you hang out with people who use, you are more likely to be a user than if you hang out with people who don't use. You would agree with that? I mean, that's a fair statement? Okay, so somebody writes me this thing. She says, I've got these friends who are doing this stuff that I don't like. My classmates are always doing things that are not right and can get them in trouble. They expect me to do these things with them. I know I shouldn't, but I don't want them to laugh at me. What should I do? What should you do? Someone else I haven't talked to yet. Yes, the red sweatshirt.
I think they shouldn't, because if your friends are judging you by you join that certain group, you really shouldn't, because that's your own opinion, and they're kind of like judging you by you want to follow that person. So I think it's your own decision. I think they should accept you how you are and what you're going to do. So.
Have you ever been in a situation like that?
Yeah.
And what was it like for you?
I thought it was uncomfortable, but I just didn't do it, and it happened a long time ago, and I talked to a teacher about it, and then afterwards, those people got in trouble, and I didn't. So.
Yeah. You got to stand up for yourself. You know, someone else earlier said those people who are criticizing you, they're not going to be around your whole life. So it's like, oh, come on, do this, and you go, no, it's not who I am. It's not what I want to do. That's hard. Sometimes you may have to leave friends. You may have to choose to be friends with these people anymore or not. because of what they're doing. And that's a really hard choice. But if those people so do not reflect who you are, and the path that they're going on is totally in a different direction of where you see your life going, you got to disengage, because they're going to bring you down. You'll find other friends. It's not, you won't find them in a snap, but you'll find people who seem to be going in the same direction. What's the worst thing that you have to deal with that you wish that you had an adult to talk to about it? Yeah? I knew you were going to say that. Okay. You talk to your friends about sex, but most of them have misinformation, or they're lying about how much experience they have. But I mean, how many of you, and I'm supposed to ask your parents, how many of you have someone, an adult in your life that you really trust, that you can talk to about anything? Okay, those of you who have your hands raised are really lucky. It is impossible to grow up alone. And as much time as you spend with your own peer group, and let's face it, most of your friends don't know a whole lot more than you do. But if there's a cool teacher or, counselor, someone from your church, the parent of a friend of yours, or your own parents, older siblings, you need to find somebody. Because if it hasn't happened yet, it will happen that you'll need somebody to talk to. Who is that life preserver? Who is that person that you can talk to? Who isn't judging you, isn't coming down with lectures, who's just going to listen and go, yeah, I've had those feelings. Just so you don't feel like you're alone. Because feeling isolated, that's the worst. Just you're holding it all in, and maybe you know people who say they're really so depressed they feel like killing themselves. Have you ever been in a conversation or felt that way yourself? Yeah. It's real. Do you know that the number one cause of death in teenagers is alcohol-related car accidents? The number two cause of death in American teenagers is suicide. And I think that happens because of that. There's no healthy relationships around. There's no one that you feel you can trust, no one you can be honest with, no one you can have open communication with, or the respect. And so no one to talk to, so you shut down. And those feelings don't go away, and they stay there. And they hurt us inside. There's no way to express it. Some people are lucky. They are musical, or they are artistic, or they do sports, or there's something that they know how to do to make themselves feel better. To express yourself is more than just words, but you need something, and it does really, really help to find someone that you can talk to. And most adults who know you would probably welcome an opportunity to talk to you. When your parents look at you so grown up like this, and they have pictures around the house when you were little, and things are really easy when you're a little kid, and your parent of a little kid's really easy. You tell them what to do all the time, and they go, yeah, Mom, yeah, yeah. And when you're good, they give you a hug and all that stuff. And then you start growing up, and they haven't shifted gears. They keep a picture in their head of who you were, but not who you are now. And then they see you, and maybe you're taller than them. I know my kids are bigger than me. and it's like, if you don't shift, if you don't say, okay, this 5-year-old whose picture's on the piano is not who lives in my house anymore. There are parts of him that are still there, but he's grown in a lot of directions. I have to respect that. I can't tell him what to do in the same way that I was able to. And a lot of parents say, well, my job's done, all grown up, they don't need me anymore. That is such crap. If you need your parents. It's not just that they still pay the bills and they put food on the table. I know you have conflicts with your parents. I know you do. But you need them to be there. If there was something that you wish your parents would never say to you again, because it always makes you so mad, what would it be? I wish my parents would never say,
they need to stop bothering me about sex because they tell me to stop. I don't do it, but
They're worried. They're worried about you. Okay, so they keep hounding you. They keep asking you about these things that you're not doing. They're reading the newspapers is what they're doing. And they think that all the kids who end up in the headlines of the news are doing things that you guys are doing. Yeah.
It bothers me when my parents stab each other in the back. My parents are divorced, and like all the time, like I'll go to my dad's house one time and we'll get in an argument, and my dad will just like start talking about my mom. And my mom does the same thing.
Then you're in the middle.
I just tell them to shut up. I mean, it doesn't bother me anymore.
Don't tell them to shut up. I have a suggestion for you. Will you try this next time? Tell them how it makes you feel. It makes me feel pulled in two directions when you start saying bad stuff about my mom. I like being with you, Dad, but I really wish you wouldn't do that anymore. Because the shut up it's not really a communication about your feelings. So think about how you feel, and this is the key to all of it. When something feels weird in your environment, between your friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, your parents, stop for a second, say, how do I feel right now? And then take whatever courage it takes to say, I feel really hurt when you tell me that you didn't like what I was wearing. Instead of, you always tell me this. You see, the you always and the you never just puts people on defensive and you'll start a fight. But if you stick with your feelings, I guarantee you will actually start communicating. Say, how do I feel right now? And then how do you say this? I feel this when you do this. I feel lonely when no one's home when I get home from school. I feel bad when I hear you and Dad fighting all the time. Instead of stop doing that, just talk when you're feeling, people start listening. It's amazing. I got a signal that we are going to be wrapping up this part of it. So it's just this fall. So I wanted to thank you for being here and for being really honest. I know that it's scary, especially in a large group, and I really appreciate you coming. Thank you.
You really emphasized that communication was important in like all relationships, and I think that's really true and just like something that all the kids need to know.
For me personally, the most important part was how you can relate in relationships and the communication.
Well, for me was how to bring up personal matters with your family or friends.
The most important thing is probably about like friends and being honest, because I know I've had a lot of things with that, and it really like touched me, and I really enjoyed listening to talk.
Well, I learned that it's just really important to be open and to not hold anything back, because when you do, it's just kind of like, you know, you're going to get these feelings bottled up inside. And
I think that from what she said, that friendships with my girlfriends are mainly very important to me because I can talk to them about anything.
I think the most important thing for me was being honest with one another, especially with my friends, because especially while you're in your younger years, like you go through a lot of like stuff with your friends, and so you just need to be honest with them and tell them how you feel.
Adults, it's good to have an adult because sometimes they can give you better advice than a friend could give you, because theirs is more like from experience than a friend's would be.
I do have. Both of my parents I feel like I can trust a lot.
I'm not that honest with my mom like I should be, so it was really funny to listen to everybody how they reacted to that. I kind of felt like everybody was just like me, like it was kind of hard to tell your parents some of the things. I'm able to talk to my mom, and it makes me happy to know that there's someone there who has experienced all the things that I'm going through now, and so it helps me a lot.
I talk to my parents sometimes, but it's kind of like they don't quite understand me, and I seem to get more angry when I talk to them than when I don't, so I don't know. I have good friends that I can talk to, and that's really important to me.
The most important thing that she talked about for me was the parents' relationship, because I've always had a close relationship with my parents, but some things I don't feel comfortable talking to them about. My parents are awesome. They're always there for me, and I feel so comfortable talking to them.
And don't forget, you can connect with Annie for her cyber advice at talkcity.com/theinsight. Just click on Hey Tara. The Burton Bar Authors Series is made possible through funding from United Healthcare and Wells Fargo.